following this meeting, after Mary finishes her presentation, we will do another training if you want to circulate petitions. We have enough petitions for everybody. The petitions are about redistricting. If you don't know what that's about, stay for the second part of the meeting and you'll want to find out what it's all about. There we go. Okay, my name is Alberta Hemsley. Katie Hoffman, Liz Ping, and I started thinking. Katie is right here. Liz, raise her hand somewhere. There she goes. She's busy delegating. She knows how to do that. Okay, tell her what she's back there being volunteer. Okay, Marlena is our wonderful Marlena with the blue hair. Everybody see Marlena? She's our newsletter guru. And in just a moment, she's going to collect information from people who are new.
That's Alberta. Carol is another volunteer.
And Carol is another volunteer for our organization. She's going to unpack the box. We are so excited. We are so excited. I want to just introduce Jerry Roberts here, who came with Mary today and set up the equipment for us so we don't have any problems. Yay.
No mandarins.
Liz, how long are we scheduling into?
Mid-December.
Mid-December. We have meetings for you in this organization till mid-December. The only meeting we will not have is July 4th, which happens on a Tuesday, so we will not be here that Tuesday. Every other Tuesday we will be having a presentation. Be sure to go and see, one of the best parts of our luncheon is our belly up to the bar, where you get information about anybody who wants to put out information. And one of the nice things we do in this group is to introduce people who are here, who need introduction, or who want to be reintroduced for whatever reason. And we're going to start with, here we go, Robert Sturdivant.
Robert Sturdivant is, excuse me.
Sorry.
Cincinnati Educational Justice Coalition. Our monthly meeting is Thursday at 6 o'clock at the Cincinnati Fire Museum, 315 West Court Street, downtown at plenty of parking. Plenty of parking, and you're open. The event is open and free, of course, to the public. And if you show up, I'll give you a T-shirt. That's I'm sort of modeling the T-shirt today. So, but I want to welcome Miss Ronan to this event. I love this event. It's very nice to see you, Mary.
Chris, go ahead, go for it, Chris.
I have a copy of the petition. I have a copy of the petition just for people to sign for the anti-gerrymandering.
We've got one going around, Chris.
Well, the problem with that is I passed it around at church and everybody that I passed it around to filled it out incorrectly.
Oh.
So if anybody wants to come to me after the meeting, and we'll make sure we get it done correctly.
They will not count it if it's not done properly. Your first name and last name have to be on two different lines. I'm sure they set it up to trick you so they can discount them. And if they discount your name, they can discount the whole petition.
So there's a lesson in that. Watch when people sign it so that you know you're doing it.
You need to actually watch people sign and help them with the signing so that it happens. And you may not sign somebody else's petition because you may not sign your own. Be very careful with that, please. I will teach you in our second hour of this meeting today. Okay, restrooms are right outside, right straight across from the door. Let's see. We need 305,000 signatures, but in order to get that many valid signatures, they're estimating that we need to get 600,000 signatures. They would like, now there's an argument about whether or not they want them by July 4th. If we have 305 valid signatures by July 4th, then then it's possible for it to be on the ballot for this November 17 election. But there are some people who say that it would be better if we didn't do that, because Caleb, for instance, our Democratic chairman, he says that it would be better if we didn't make that deadline, because if we wait until the 18 election, then there will be more people to vote for it. And it will certainly pass, as the last one did when we passed the non-gerrymandering districts for state districts. So,
But Alberta,
yes,
even if we get all the signatures, they don't have to turn it in. They can hold them and turn them in after July 5th.
right. So you don't have to sign this again once you've signed it, if it's on a ballot signature. Yes.
Does anyone know if, I mean, I watched the video, but it was in a crowded situation, and then Carol watched the video at home by herself, and she thinks that it said the spouse can't sign your own petition.
You may not sign your own petition.
Spouse. The spouse,
Your spouse can.
my spouse.
Your spouse can. He's an independent voter.
so.
The spouse can't sign for a spouse. That's what
They can't sign
is
for
that
the
what it
spouse.
meant?
Yeah.
You may not sign for your spouse.
Okay.
They don't want to have two identical signatures. If they find two identical signatures next to each other, they will invalidate the whole petition.
Now, it was.
I don't want to do the training now, I want to do the training later, yes.
It was passed around here a few weeks ago, right?
No,
No,
What
This
was
is-
that? I signed something here.
that was
Oh.
the ones that were thrown out. These are the ones that the language has been approved.
Okay.
right, and you may have signed somebody's petition, and let me go to Renee.
Last time, did they?
Renee has a petition that she wants you to sign. It may have been another petition for somebody like Renee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Renee Avia, and I am a candidate for the Cincinnati Public School Board. I'm happy to be here today. I went to another event that was at the Red Rose Pizza a few months back, so I'm happy to be here. I do have my petition to get on the ballot. I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party, and I'm happy to be here to hear our Mary Ronan, who's now our party superintendent, hear her speak today. So I'm very proud to be here. So thank you for being here today.
Karen Galloway, and this is my husband Dick. We were here a couple of weeks ago. We're with a new group called Reforms, Reforming Elections for the Majority, and we are a support group for Move to Amend. Oh yes, and he has a sign here. I just wanted to invite you all on there are two possibilities for meetings. On June 11th at Harmony Church in Mainville, we are holding a presentation about Move to Amend and their effort to really reverse Citizens United. They've got a great solution. We really support it. We'd love to tell you about it. We're also holding pretty much the identical meeting on June 22nd at the Madeira Library, which might be closer to some of you than Mainville. So so the 11th is at 4. It's a Sunday at 4. And then the June 22nd at 6:30, that's a Thursday at Madeira Library. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terry Root, and I'm here visiting Cindy and Monica from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Hello.
And I have a kind of a complicated story. I was fortunate to come here in October and work for Hillary and hung out at their house and stayed for a long enough period of time that they began to think I was never going home. But anyway, I want you to know that I run the local indivisible Little Rock and Central Arkansas chapter down in Arkansas, and I took what I learned from you guys and the way you work in your neighborhoods back to Arkansas, and so we now work through indivisible huddles, and we're kicking butt and taking names. We have over 1,000 members
I'm
in
going
a
to tell
red state.
Tucson about that, because they're so happy we exist.
So anyway, I just wanted you to know that we greatly appreciate your leadership and the things that you're doing, because it's very important.
Let's give a big hand to Arkansas. Any other elected officials, people who need to make announcements or say what they need to say here this morning? Monica.
Hi, I'm Monica, and I'm going to say that we have another week to go before we receive another shipment of neighborhood signs. If you wish to sign up now to let me know that you would like a sign, I'll take names and bring them to the taking names now. And then you can pay me when upon delivery, when they arrive. We also hold the evening events at Red Rose. Last night we held one on human trafficking. The topic was important, pertinent, and knowing that human trafficking is number 2 behind cocaine dealing is huge, heroin and cocaine. But the number of people that are affected, not only just women, but families that are brought over here under pretenses and then put into servitude. So it was a large conversation. There were a lot of people for us. We had 21 people there last night. We had a lot of fun, and we stayed the full 2 hours just carrying on. The next Red Rose meeting will be on the 20th of July rather, and we will have either Lynn Pudsnick, the lawyer that was going to be speaking to us earlier, and she will be speaking on July 20th, I believe. That's a Thursday night. We've got dispensation for that, so that if you would
Clarify the date.
July 20th, I'm sorry, July 20th. July 20th is a Thursday, so.
Not Monday.
Not a Monday, I'm sorry. We've got, I'm so stuck on those Mondays. So this was different because that was the only day she taught, but she's going to be talking about sexual harassment. I invite you all to join us at 6 p.m.
Hi, my name is Bill, and I would just like to let you know that the climate rally that was canceled a few weeks ago because of the weather. And there is a difference between weather and climate, so that helped us straighten that one out. That's going to be this weekend, the 10th of June, 12 o'clock at Fountain Square from 12 to 2. So bring your signs and let everybody know how you feel about that issue. Thank you.
I want to be sure to introduce Sid. Sid, will you give a little cry there? Sid is our youngest Democrat. He comes to most of our meetings. He really liked the singing when we had the Queen City Balladeers here. He was singing right along with everybody. It was wonderful. And his mother is in the back. Her name is Deb. Any other announcements here?
Management just turned in a necklace. If anybody has lost a necklace.
Had a little fine necklace. Tiny thing. It has a little pendant?
Yeah.
What's the pendant look like?
It's got a letter on it. Put the S.
Okay, well, we'll hold on to that. Let's hold on to that thought and that.
We have Sid's
Okay.
big sister here today.
Oh, we have, and Sid's big sister's name is what?
Sophia.
Sophia. Welcome, Sophia. Very nice.
Is she wearing a name tag too?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Her mother's getting a one. And Ms. Eberhard, would you grab a microphone for just a second?
Hello, everybody.
Dr. Eberhard is here. Yes, she's running for.
I'm running for the 2nd Congressional District. If
Yes,
you have any question as to whether you're in that district, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. It is not easy because of gerrymandering, and I have brought, and I'm sure several other people have brought petitions, but anybody, yeah, I'm sure we have a whole bunch. Be sure that you don't leave today without signing one of these. I brought both Hamilton and Claremont. If you're in another county, I have a pamphlet that we can accommodate you as well. Good seeing everyone. Warren, okay, well, I can get other signatures in because I have enough papers. All right, thanks, everybody.
Wonderful. Okay, I want to make sure everybody knows my brother is in the back with the video camera. My brother Stanley. Let's see. If there's anybody who really wants to do a naturalization ceremony and you haven't done one yet, I'm doing one this coming Friday at 2 o'clock. If you are interested in working with the League of Women Voters and signing up new people for registering to vote, it's a really fun time. and speak to me, or right over here, next to Mary is Seppi Kogan, who can talk to you about working the naturalization ceremony. She's one who's come back and back and back. She enjoys it too. So see me, or and I'd be happy to drive you for the first time if you want to come with me. Okay, and that leads us to our speaker of the day. Yay! I'm so happy to introduce my friend and colleague, Mary Ronan. She served as superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools for 9 years, having a 40-year career with Cincinnati Public Schools and as a teacher and administrator. We are so grateful she's been part of our team. The spirits are riding high at CPS now following an emphatic victory for its combined preschool and K-12 school levy, which passed with more than 62% of voters approving. Congratulations, Mary, well done. The levy will add $48 million a year to school funding, including $15 million to greatly expand and fund public and private preschool. So, folks, let's welcome Mary Ronan, Superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools.
Thank you, Elmer. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. It was, I had fun connecting with lots of old friends who I've known for many years and getting to meet some new friends. And today, I want to talk about the power of partnerships. And as I look around here, this is quite a group, and I can see a group that gets things done. And that's kind of the story of the district. We have partnered with lots of organizations to get done, to get the job done. Now, for those of you who aren't educators, I am going to be talking a lot about education, just because that's my venue. And just to give you an idea, Cincinnati Public Schools, we're the largest district in Hamilton County. In fact, we're the third largest in the state. Columbus is the largest district at the moment, followed by Cleveland, which is number 2, and we're right in there at number 3. And you can see we're a very diverse district. Now, right now, you hear a lot in the news about public education, and it is a stew of confusion. Right now, we have a new Secretary of Education. And in my 9 years, to put this in perspective, we've had 3 sets of state standards. We're not allowed to say the word Common Core anymore. We've had 4 different sets of tests and 6 changes to the state report card. Not to mention the funding formula that changes. So it is just a very difficult. They talk about more local control, and that's really what the new ESSA talked about. But in reality, that usually means state control. It doesn't mean your local school board. So Renee, I hate to tell you that. So I said, even though they say local control, they mean state control. They don't mean the local school board. So with all this confusion going on, we thought, you know what, let's slow down. Talk to our stakeholders and see what they want, because right now, otherwise you're just spinning your wheels. We were shocked because teachers, administrators, we are really focused on the state report card and everything the state puts out. And we were shocked when, when our parents and stakeholders said, wait a minute, we value things beyond the state report card. So that took a while for us to wrap our heads around. So we thought, let's talk about partnerships and take back control from all these confusing ideas that are floating around out there. So we started to partner with other groups in the city. I'm sorry, that's kind of wavy. Woo. We work with United Way. They have bold goals, and I'm sorry, am I blocking the people here? I probably am. I feel badly. Maybe I'll just kind of sit down here. So these are the various partners with whom we partner. And for instance, this is a great one. We work a lot with Children's Hospital around early literacy because we have a 3rd grade guarantee in the state that you can't be promoted to 4th grade unless you pass the reading test. So, believe it or not, Dolly Parton is a lovely person. She actually funds Imagination Library. So what we do is we partner with Children's. They have the pediatrician on the first visit where a mom comes in with a baby a couple months old. They share their information. A book is sent every month for up until they're 5 years old and start kindergarten. It's age appropriate to the home. And all we ask is, in order to get it, obviously you have to let us know if you move, you change your address. But that gets, now you're able to stay in contact with these people, send out materials around, healthy eating and whatever else the pediatricians and hospitals want to do. And these children end up with 60 books in a library. And the best part of it was, Dolly Parton came to town, it was last June, and I got to meet her. That was really exciting. And she is a lovely person. Those are two, Dr. DeWitt from Children's Hospital and Elizabeth Edwards, who actually runs the program here in the city. She's lovely. She chats with you. It was pretty impressive. And believe it or not, she is 70 years old. Can you believe that? She looks fabulous. She said, I have great makeup, great lighting, a great surgeon. So she was a hoot. All righty, partnering with benefits. That is what we have tried to do in our district because we know we cannot do it alone. These are pictures of 2 of our new schools that were built during the facilities master plan. And in fact, as we were building our 55 plus schools and our $1 billion facilities master plan, we really met with the community and said, what would you like to see in your school? It should be more than just bricks and mortar. So we offered free rent and utilities in order to bring in local nonprofits to work in our schools and provide services. So right now, we have 25 health centers in our schools. The nurse practitioners and pediatricians are not funded by the district. We could never afford that. They're funded, the hospital pays their salary, and they either bill private insurance or Medicaid. So we are very concerned about cuts to Medicaid. We have 3 dental clinics. In fact, the backlog is so great, they run all summer. They don't close when the schools close. We have one at Western Hills, Withrow, and at Euler in the center city. And we have also a vision center, which is what the picture is that you see. And we transport children all during the year in order to get glasses whenever they need it. So, like I said, we were shocked when we found out that our stakeholders weren't just interested in the state test. They were interested in meeting the needs of the whole child. They believed in access to preschool. And that brings us to issue 44 that Alberta talked about. When this was a combined levy, and the way this started is the preschool promise people, lots of young millennials believe in preschool. We knew we had to put a levy on the ballot. We were very concerned that if we put 2 levies on, they would go, one or both would fail. So we figured out a way to come together with one levy for both of us and make it work. So as Alberta said earlier, there's $33 million for K-12 education and $15 million for preschool. And it was amazing. We had a 62% of positive vote, which hasn't occurred since Eisenhower was president, when we asked for new money. So that was pretty impressive. All right, so now what are we going to do with it? The plan is next year, Cincinnati Public will have 2,000 children in preschool seats, which is pretty incredible. And the money also goes to private providers because we can't, there's a universe out there, we guess around 8,000 or 9,000 preschoolers, and there's no way we could fit all these children in our buildings. So it's private, parochial, and school district seats. And there's going to be full and half-day options all across the district. Our district's about 96 square miles. Now, in our district, we do have licensed teachers with 4-year degrees. And that's a great picture. It looks like it must be career day with a firefighter in there. The preschool people put a whole lot of pictures in here, so I'm going to kind of whip through them. They're so happy. I didn't want to dismay them and say a little too much. We do provide breakfast, lunch, snack. We do that for all of our children in the district. With an 80% poverty rate, you really do need to make sure you take care of the whole child. Now, the other thing that came up on our surveys were stakeholders wanted better neighborhood schools. We have great magnet schools in our district. In fact, those of you from Cincinnati know that people camp out. They used to camp out until we went to a lottery. But there's neighborhood schools that people aren't camping out for and aren't in such great demand, so that they need to be strengthened. So that is what we're working on. So last year we started with 7 schools. We worked with the community and said, what kind of focus? You know, the magnet schools have Montessori or Paideia, so we said, why don't you tell us what you want your neighborhood school to focus around? So Hayes Porter did high technology, which was great. They're right next to Taft High School, so the young people from Taft could come over and help. A number of our schools said, like Woodford, said arts and culture. Pleasant Hill Academy chose the environmental science because they've got marshland behind the school and could have gardens and do environmental studies. And I'm going to ask Jerry to help me out here. I have a little 2-minute clip of the children talking about the programming in their schools. So we'll see if we can pull this up here. Because you know, sometimes children in their own words, they say it better. All right. Thank you, Jerry, for being here. Yeah, Jerry. All right.
My Tomorrow started in the 2014-2015 school year at the Cincinnati Public Schools. It does an awesome job of preparing students to succeed in the real world. Whether it's college, a trade, or the military, My Tomorrow is giving us the solid foundations we need to further our growth.
Now CPS is turning its attention to strengthening Cincinnati's neighborhood schools. Programs are coming to several neighborhood schools this year as a part of a multi-year plan to help them better prepare our young students for the challenges of the future. These school programs will leverage the special qualities of the neighborhoods they serve. We're creating partnerships within Cincinnati's unique communities, providing course offerings that match the personality of the community. Want to see some examples? Watch this.
We will create works of art and perform music. We will take our creative skills to a new level. We will connect to our community in a new and exciting way. Chase Elementary School in Northside and Woodford Paideia Academy in Kennedy Heights will be arts and culture centers next school year. We'll be studying dance, music, and visual art and learning about the cultures, customs, and traditions of countries around the world. This new arts focus will be blended into our other academic studies. We will participate in innovative field studies throughout the year and visit some of Cincinnati's famous arts venues. And when we learn math or science or social studies, our teachers will explain how these skills fit into the cultures of the world around us. We will present creative performances and produce artistic exhibitions for our community. The 5th and 6th grade students will play instruments in a band or an orchestra. It's a great way to build creative and critical thinking skills through artistic action. The communities of Northside and Kennedy Heights will help our schools in the learning process. This new arts focus will help build on the current partnership between Chase School and McKee Recreation Center to bring more opportunities to our community. And Woodford Paideia is close to the Kennedy Heights Arts Center. Both communities have artists and musicians who can visit our classrooms and help us appreciate the way art and culture help shape tomorrow's world. I love the arts. Now I can experience how art and music support learning in all kinds of ways.
All right, those are our great students really talking about the programming. Well, as Jerry works to get the PowerPoint back up and going here, some of the other things we have done, I think you'll have to go way down there on the slides, Jerry. Keep on going. Oh, I'd say keep going. Oh, let's see, right after that. 27. We're on slide 27. In addition, we figured out we have to be competitive. There's lots of, these days, charters and vouchers. In fact, we spend $110 million a year goes out, actually flows to the district, goes out the door for charter schools and vouchers. So we figured out we have to be competitive and market ourselves. So one of the ways we do that is talk about all the great things that go on in our district and all the specialized programming, because oftentimes I see other schools with fancy billboards as you go down the highway, and by golly, I know when I started in education you didn't have to market, but these days you certainly do. So another thing is the importance of expanding technology. At this point in time, we're mandated to give the state tests on the computer. So since this, I hate to say this, kind of looks like an older audience. When we went to school, we learned cursive. Well, we still teach it, but you know what? Kids aren't great at it anymore because we don't ask them to write anything. When the state tests force you to do everything on a computer, you have to decide, gee, do I spend my time teaching cursive, or do I split the time and do some keyboarding skills and teach kids how to cut, paste, and use the computers? Because when the state tests come, if they can't use the computer, they don't pass. And is it really a test of literacy, or is it a test of your lack of computer skills? And a lot of our children don't have the latest computer at home, or any computer at home. So it's just kind of interesting times. So we still teach it, but we also have to split the time with computer keyboarding. We're also, well, that actually is one of the things about equity. You know, a lot of our children, our more middle-class children, do have computers and internet access at home. Our poor children don't. So they're at a real disadvantage when you go to take a state test and you don't have the computer skills. So we are trying to put computers in all our classrooms, because if the first day you use a computer is testing day, you're at a disadvantage. And this is all state mandated. And then this is a perfect example today. When you buy all the technology, you have to have the folks who can keep it up and running, like Jerry. Yes?
I volunteer with the Mount Healthy Schools, and I was told by some of the teachers that the children actually will try to take a test on their parents' cell phones because they don't have the option of it.
And actually, yes, that is the one thing that seems to be all over. Everyone has a cell phone, and we wish we could deliver more content that way, because most people have a cell phone, but they don't have computers at home.
The teachers thought it was really a bad problem as the children were trying to take the test on the phone instead of laptop.
Instead of yes. It's a lot harder. I mean, think of that little screen. It's a lot harder. So here's some of the billboards. We thought we have to be competitive in market. So these are some of our great children on billboards throughout the city, really talking about our great graduates and where they're going to college and what their majors are. Because that is definitely one of our initiatives, making sure that our graduates are ready for the real world. In fact, we corner our seniors and say, you need to be either enrolled in college, employed, or enlisted in the military. And we want you to fill out a career plan and not let you just wander off in June of your senior year not knowing what you're going to do. So our next steps are, you saw the first 7 schools that we're improving in our neighborhood schools. Well, we're working on a group of 8 this year, and the reason why it's called Vision 2020 is the plan is by the year 2020, all of our neighborhood schools will have a specialized focus. But we have 42 neighborhood schools, and we knew we couldn't do them all at once. And we want to keep listening to our stakeholders. So I'm going to stop there and take questions, conversation. Yes?
The last slide there was about the gifted students.
Yes.
So the programs, like, I know that in Hyde Park there was a gifted school.
Yes.
One of the, I mentors of long-term African American. And one of them has a kid that is in public school and went from first grade, was so good and went straight to third grade. She would like to send it to a gifted school. Our gifted school, magic school, how they can, well, she doesn't live in Hyde Park. So how does it work?
Yes, in fact, the Hyde Park Gifted School,
Can you repeat the question?
it's expanding gifted education in the district.
Okay, thank you.
So it started at Hyde Park, and you're right, within 2 years it was overcrowded. So then we also opened a gifted academy in Cheviot Neighborhood School for the west side, but now that's gotten overcrowded. So this August, we're reopening Spencer Center, which is over in Walnut Hills, and it is a school for gifted and exceptional children.
How do they enroll?
You call our customer service. If you've got the test scores, it does depend on test scores. Gifted is at the 95th percentile or above, but we're also doing exceptional down to the 85th percentile. Customer service will enroll you. So we're looking at 300 to 400 children at Spencer Center next year. So thank you for that question.
Back here.
Yes.
Whoa, let me stand up straight. Just a couple of things. The first question I have is, how much autonomy does the district have in terms of setting the curriculum standards?
The state sets the learning standards. Right now they're called Ohio's new learning standards.
Okay.
But how the teachers choose to present those standards to the student is up to the individual teacher.
Okay. My second thing I wanted to say is we really need to work on our PR for the district because every time I see in the news something about CPS, it's almost always something bad. And especially with this school year, at Dater alone, there were 2 suicides. And then there was the young boy at Carson. We hear about all these terrible things that are happening at CPS schools. And, we're doing the neighborhood schools. We need to make these places of pride in the community. So we need, with the partnerships, we need to also, in the schools, be giving back and get some better press. Like, somebody does something really well, shout it out. Let's talk about our students. They do great things. Yes, bad things happen in all districts, but we really need to work on getting out all the good things that we do.
No, thank you. The press has gotten better, but it's been a difficult year. There have been 15 suicides in the greater Cincinnati area. They've hit private, public, and parochial, and we're all reeling about how to deal with that with youngsters. And back with our health centers, we have a mental health partner in all 56 of our schools. And that we don't pay for, they're actually on site, and even with that, we're unable to stem the tide. There's a Netflix series, 13 Reasons Why to Commit Suicide, that's out there, and we're all trying to come to grips, all the districts. I was told that St. X child who went 100 miles an hour, that was a suicide. There was a suicide at Summit in the last 2 weeks of school. All of us have been hit by it, and we're trying to figure that out. It's very hard. But your point's well taken. It's a little bit harder to get the good news out because, bad news is last year. Although overall, I think things have gotten a bit better, and that's why we've done some marketing ourselves, because we realize we have to. Yes.
As a teacher, I can talk to that a little bit. I know that we make.
You have to put it right up next to your mouth.
Yeah.
I know that we
Thank you.
make a very good effort in the district to put out the news stories. In fact, Janet Walsh does a marvelous job of putting out for press releases. However, bad news sells papers, and bad news gets on the news a lot quicker. If they've got time, they will focus on all the good things, all the good programs and stuff, if they have time. But bad news is news, and good news is, well, all well and good.
And that's why we've done some old-fashioned marketing like the billboards, sending out the quality report, mailing it, not just to the parents of teachers, but all the constituents in the district, so they know what's going on.
So we hear so much about the private for-profit schools underachieving. Number one, do you think what we hear is accurate? And number two, what's Cincinnati doing to fix it?
We actually sponsor 2 charter schools ourselves because in Ohio there's been charter schools for probably about 15 years now. So you get to the point is if you can't beat them, join them. So we have sponsored 2 schools where we're trying to improve the quality of the charter schools. I think the idea was originally that these nonprofit schools were going to perform better than the public schools, and that hasn't been the reality. They either score the same or lower than we do, and in most cases lower. So that's an issue. So we do sponsor 2 charter schools ourselves that we're looking at. It was interesting. Carpe Diem, it's over-located on our Aiken campus along with one of our high schools. And, and it was funny that the conversation started with the founders who said, we're gonna have the highest performing school in the district in 1 year. Well, it's 4 years later and they're fair to Midland, and you just don't turn things around overnight. And if somebody moves the test scores from 45% of the children passing to 85 in 1 year, there's probably hanky-panky going on.
That's right.
You have to look at slow, steady improvement, and that's not easy. And the other thing is, when we look at our stats, if a child starts with us in preschool and stays through 3rd grade, 85% of those children pass the state test. The problem is 12,000 of our children move around every year. So they start off with us, they go to a charter school, they move out of state, they come back to us. So there's all those interruptions in their education. When you look at, sometimes you print off a child if there's an issue, and I see they've been in 8 or 9 schools in their elementary school life. That truly has an incredible impact, and that's a lot of it. Mobility, we're educating the working poor, where you're evicted or you have to move. That has just a huge impact, and maybe you're out of school for 3 or 4 weeks during that time. That does impact us academically.
Could you come back when you're not the superintendent anymore and get a little bit more down and dirty about the politics of the state and education?
Well, the state's hard. There's state politics. And most of Ohio is rural, which we don't think about because we're from a big city. But there's 8 urbans in Ohio out of 612 or 13 school districts. Those 8 schools districts educate about 15% of the children in the state. Most of the minority children are in those 8 regions. But we don't have a lot of representation because most of our representatives are Democrats, so that's a problem in Columbus. Republicans. Well, I mean, ours from here are Dems. So when they go up there, you really don't have a voice in a Republican-controlled state house. So that's an issue. And also the emphasis is towards rural issues. So the Ohio 8, as we're called, we're the 8 urbans. We have joined with Chorus, which is your coalition of your Appalachian and rural schools. There's about 22 of them. And we've met to say, what kind of topics do we share that we could lobby together? So transportation is one thing. It's killing us because we have to transport public, private, parochial, and so we spend $41 million a year just on buses transporting children. Well, the rurals are hurt. They don't have charters, but they have such large districts that they spend a fortune with the mileage and trying to pick everyone up. So when we go together, people listen because now we've got a rural person with us. So that's what we've been trying to do to increase our lobbying efforts at the state level.
Mary, can I make an announcement real quickly? We're trying to get the microphone around to everyone. We're going to go around this way. I know I look really young, but I'm a little hard of hearing, especially when people are speaking to the front. You can't hear back here. And if you roll your eyes at me when I hand you the microphone, we'll talk later, okay? I'm going to work my way around, okay? We'll work our way around the room. Each person gets to ask a question, and then it moves on, okay?
I know we've just eaten lunch, but I have a question about sex.
What is the?
Is that yes or no?
Always. Do you have a policy in the school board as in general as to comprehensive sex education, how long it should take and what should be included?
Sex education is part of our health curriculum. We have to use the national standards because the state of Ohio does not have a sex ed curriculum. They refuse to do it. But be advised, parents have a right to pull their children out. So they can sign out and not so.
Pulling out never works.
Yeah. I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there.
All right.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So I saw in the video, for instance, Kennedy Heights Cultural Arts Center is one of the places that was partnering with you. And I wonder if you could talk to us about what happened with the Clifton Cultural Arts Center.
Yes, Clifton Cultural Arts, our enrollment is growing. And we had a lease with CCAC that's in the Clifton building, but we know that we're going to need the Clifton School back due to our increased enrollment. So we have terminated the lease. We did buy the Ralston estate next to CCAC and offered it to them. They don't feel it's large enough because they run weddings on weekends and wanted a larger venue. So right now they are looking at they're looking for space in Clifton, and we have to give them the depreciated value of all the improvements they have made while they were in the building. So right now we're negotiating that. Wasn't pleasant, some people in Clifton not happy, but you know, it's divided. You've got young families who want a school, you've got others who value the arts, and hopefully they can find another location in Clifton.
Will there be some collaborating on space? I thought I read that somewhere.
We offered that. We bought the estate next door and we told them they could use the school auditorium on evenings and weekends, but I think there's hard feelings right now, and so they have said no. But you never say never. 6 months, 8 months from now, depending on whether they find great space or not, they might be more willing to say, that could be an interesting discussion. And we're open to that because they have been a good partner.
I just wanted, number one, to commend you on your creativity. Partnering with the rural schools, whoever thought that one up, kudos to them. The fact that you're well covered with your health centers in the schools and that each one of them has a mental health professional available, that's great.
It's taken 10 years.
Yes, it's taken a long time. So in one day, the Republican administration can ruin that for you when it cuts away the Medicaid expansion in Ohio. How are you going to handle it if that happens?
We're trying to sort that out. The Medicaid now, we think the expansion was mostly for adults. We're hoping that the CHIP program, which is the children's health insurance, there hasn't been talk about cutting that. So most of our Medicaid is through CHIP since they're children. Now, we were in our health centers, for instance, Deaconess, they're over at West Tyre, Tri-Health is. We try to do our health centers with an exterior door with like an awning that the hospital puts their awning on, because the real plan was to also service the parents in the community. Now that part could be impacted, but we're hopeful that since it's the CHIP program, but I can tell you how it is going to impact us. We have 8,000 children with disabilities. And they oftentimes, they come to school in wheelchairs. They have a multitude of physical handicaps. So physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, the nurses to work with those children. That's what we're concerned about. Right now, we get about $2 to $3 million back to cover all those services that the federal government requires us to provide, and it's the right thing to do. We're very concerned that that is all going to disappear. So we probably are going to get impacted that way, but we're hoping that the CHIP program for healthcare for children survives, because we haven't seen that as a line item they're trying to pull. But you never know.
Superintendent Ronan.
Mr. Rosen, good to see you.
Good to see you too. First off, I just wanted to thank you for your years of service and bettering our community.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you so
And
much.
second, we have great pride that with your tutelage over the years, that the incoming superintendent, Ms. Mitchell, will be fabulous for our city as well. So thank you for all that you've done behind the scenes to get her up to speed. My question is that projected for fiscal year 18, there's a roughly $589 million budget. I know the board hasn't ratified it yet. Is there opportunity for the public to hear discussion and hear about the upcoming budget before it's passed?
Definitely. Tomorrow at our board meeting, we're going to be talking about the budget, and also next Monday night, June 12th, 7 o'clock, budget hearing, and then also on is that the 26th, 2 weeks from there on Monday night is actually when the budget's going to be approved, but the board will be taking input ahead of that. So you're all certainly welcome to attend. Usually if you're not cutting something, we don't get huge numbers of people unless you're doing cuts. And right now, we're just trying to hold steady with what we have, is where we are.
I thought I read someplace that it's a state requirement you educate kids about drug abuse.
Yes, opioid, yes.
What age do you start that?
It's part of our health curriculum, so really, mostly in high school, 7 through 12. But yes, it's always been part to talk about, the issues with drugs, alcohol, and now we have to actually call out opioids by name. But that's hard at kindergarten. So we mostly have that in grades 7 through 12, because parents really, although the horrible part is kindergarten, children are finding but that's just difficult topics to talk about when they're so young.
Hi. So I wanted to say as a candidate, when I do speak about Cincinnati Public Schools, one of the things that I do emphasize is that there are a lot of good things going on. I think that it is true. The news is always looking towards the negative, and like tonight I'm going to speak at the Oakley Community Council meeting, and I will enumerate some of the great things that are happening at Cincinnati Public Schools. So that for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing is that, as an administrator, which I was, and a teacher, it is a challenging time to talk about bullying, drugs,
Yes.
right? Sex education, all of it. So the job that teachers have and administrators is something that I don't think anyone really fully understands unless you're in there and you job shadow, let's put it that way maybe. So, as a candidate, I understand both of those because I've done both. I will say that, I think what you were saying about getting it out there and more positive, and I know that the district is trying through their communications director to have more billboards and whatnot. Well, I don't know, somehow we've got to do more. And I don't know what it is yet, but when I get on the board, I'm going to figure it out. Because it has to happen. We have to really push that because I have too many people who live in my neighborhood, okay, and they have great schools to go to. They got Hyde Park Elementary, Kilgore, and they move out. Then they go somewhere else. They go to Mason or Sycamore or Wyoming. And sometimes they say that it's just too complicated to figure out, and they want to go to a smaller district. Well, okay, maybe we got to make that more simple too. Helping the public understand, more how the flow goes. So anyway, as a board member, that's what I'm going to try and do as well. So thank you.
My question has to do with preschool. The private preschools, are they under an umbrella for curriculum and training and quality, the same as the public-sponsored preschools?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. It's complicated. The state of Ohio does rank preschools, and they do it by a star rating. And for instance, our preschools are 5 stars because we have a licensed teacher with a college degree. We use the state curriculum. We have beautiful new facilities. Now, private preschools will get the tuition assistance if they're 3-star or above. And then the plan is to help the preschools that are 1 and 2 stars by giving professional development to the teachers, helping them with curriculum in order to move them up on the state star ranking system to increase the quality that's out there. Because right now it's a mixed bag. There aren't enough 5-star preschools in the city. There's lots of ones and twos. And that's hard to do when you don't have a licensed teacher. And there was also part of it that talked about the $15 minimum wage to try to help the private preschools keep their employees, because there's lots of turnover. Because if you're only paying $8 an hour in a high school, the minute a better job comes along, the people leave. So that's what a lot of the private preschools face. We're blessed that we don't, because there are pre-K to 3 teachers and they stay with us.
I want to tell you about LeBron James and what he does for the kids in Akron. I don't know if you know about it.
No.
Any of the kids in Akron city schools who need help, meds, tutors, social workers, go into his program and they get everything they need to be successful. And when they graduate, he gives them a full ride to Akron U. And I wondered if we could search for a champion around here, Andy Dalton or somebody, who could fund something like that. I think that would be so terrific. I don't know anybody except for Dick Bosey in here that could fund that. But I bet there are wealthy people around here who would be willing to do that if they knew that was a possibility.
No, that is a great idea. Now, I do have to give UC a plug. If you are Pell Grant eligible and graduate from Cincinnati Public Schools, they will pay your tuition for 4 years. And we also, so that's the Pride Grant from UC. But like I said, you have to be Pell Grant eligible, so it is targeted at our poorest children, but it is wonderful that UC does that. And then Ohio State has Ohio State Young Scholars that they target 7th graders, and if you keep a B average all through your senior year, they also provide a 4-year free ride. So we do have some, but that certainly doesn't hit everyone.
He's saying the kids that wouldn't go to school, they wouldn't make it otherwise.
But that's a fabulous idea. That really is. Yes?
One last question?
Yeah, I have a burning desire. I'm Ellen Beerhorst. We're going to be voting for members of the school board. I have no idea what the issues are that distinguish one candidate for the school board from another. I know vaguely that there are factions within the current board. I don't know what the issues there happen to be either. I'm hoping you could, as a departing superintendent, talk turkey and let us know what those divisions are.
You know, actually, this school board has not been as divided as school boards in the past. There are 4 seats, but this is what I can tell you, 4 seats opened, and they are, but there's incumbents running for 3 of the 4. So Erica Copeland-Dansby, current board president, running for re-election in the fall. Melanie Bates, board vice president, running for re-election. Daniel Manera, current board member, running for re-election. And Elisa Hoffman, there is an empty seat. She is declining to run again. Now, my understanding is, and Renee may be able to help me, I think there's 13, 14, 15 people running. Close to 17. Oh, it's gone up. So see, there's 17 people running. So it's going to be an incredible election. And I know several of those individuals have run for city council, and now it looks like they're running for school board. Typically, school board has not been a stepping stone for city council, so I figure that's kind of odd that they're doing that. So, what can I say? This is just, we've never had a field of candidates. Typically, you'd have 3 or 4 people, so this is really a whole, I think it speaks volumes about people being activated, like your group right here meeting every week. I think a lot more people are now getting interested in politics and wanting their voices to be heard. That's all I can think of with 17 candidates, which is great.
Every week, Robert Sturtevant has been with us with the Cincinnati Educational Justice Coalition. We are going to be working over the next couple of months, working on a report card for each one of the school board candidates, so that you will have issues, you'll be able to look at it. We're not going to endorse, but this will be something like the League of Women Voters does. Talks about each candidate and what we're going to do. Extremely important. So, as Robert said, we meet on the 2nd Thursday of the month at the Fire Museum downtown on Court Street, starting at 7 o'clock. And so please come and join us, because that would be very helpful to give us the input that we need. Thank you.
Didn't CFT have a forum recently for school board members?
It's 6.
Hi, I won't disrupt anybody's. I'm with Together We Will Cincinnati, Southwest Ohio, and I don't know if you have seen them, but we've done a number of Facebook Q&A sessions with Cincinnati City Council candidates where people submit questions either live online or in advance, and we have a little moderated interview with the candidate. They get to answer the questions. We're now moving on to school board candidates. So if you have a question that you would like to ask school board candidates, if you would let me know, I'd be happy to put it on our list. I believe Renee Hevia is going to be with us at the end of June. Yeah. And next week, we're starting with David Brenner. So holler at me, please, if you want me to add something to the list.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it. You have wonderful, wonderful questions. Thank you so much. But wait a second, I want to say one more thing. I want to talk snow days. When my whole team, I've taught for 50 years, and for 50 years, the first 40 years, I used to cheer for snow days. I thought that was the best thing in the world. But when Mary became superintendent, it was, I don't want to call snow days because then the kids won't eat. There are hungry kids in our schools who will not have food today if I called school off. And I want you to know, my last years with Mary as superintendent, how I ached for those snow days and said, but she's not going to call them because she wants the kids to have food.
Now, I did look at safety too, Alberta.
I know, but aside from safety, I just want you to know, that was a big plus for me. That, we have somebody there, and especially on a Friday, when schools provide schools for the weekend. So a kid would go hungry the entire weekend if we didn't have school on Friday and she had a snow day. So, hooray for Mary Ronan. Yes.
If she needs something to do after your retirement, just let us know, okay?
Yeah, this looks like a great group.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I just want to mention June 13th is Emma Claus, Mill Creek Watershed. The 20th is Dr. Richard Bozian. Single Pair Healthcare. And then Arlene Golombruski. Want to raise your hand? Where's Arlene? She's going to talk about her Sierra Leone Foundation. It's a fabulous thing. You really need to come to that meeting. So, see your handouts for coming speakers. We're only taking off from the 4th. Thank you so much for coming. Now, remember to take the food. And if you want to have the petition, you want to sign petitions, and you have not had the training, you may stay after this moment, and I will provide your training so that you can take petitions home today. But you have to have the training. So if you haven't had training and you want to circulate a petition for gerrymandering and you don't know what gerrymandering is, then stay for a few minutes. I will give a presentation. And Jerry has already set me up. Oh, I love Jerry. Thank you.
We always love Jerry.
I'm in Peru next week for the next 5 weeks. Sorry, I have to do grandchildren. We can have other people do training if we really need to. People who have been here for the first time, please make sure that you have signed up with Marlena. See Marlena, sign up and get our newsletter. One of the finest newsletters around. Even Tucson takes our advice. Finish the food.